Well, what do we know about the current Supreme Court? Well, we know one justice has said anywhere in writing or in a judicial opinion that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided and that he would overturn it. What do we know about, we know there are 4 justices who have already voted to reaffirm Roe v. Wade and have given the chance they would redefine Roe v. Wade as gender discrimination so that every single regulation that touches abortion, conscience clauses, funding, you name it, would be declared unconstitutional. And then we have 4 justices who we believe from their general judicial philosophy might be willing, or should be willing even, to consider an argument that Roe v. Wade is wrongly decided. But what other evidence do we have? But that's all we know. There is no objective evidence that we have more than one vote to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, how do we get a willing court? If we're really not sure, and we should never stop when we're not sure that we have a willing court, this is too important. We need to make sure we build a willing court. How do we do that? We re-elect President Trump, and we re-elect a majority in the Senate. That is it. That's how we build a willing court. So it's still, in that sense, a political question. Is pro-life popular when President Trump runs as the most pro-life president, arguably, in our history? Will that be viewed as a positive or negative? My personal position is, and when Roe v. Wade is overturned, I will support that and try to accomplish that position. But why would we have a debate on that today? There is no majority on the Supreme Court that we can identify that would uphold such a thing. Look, divine intervention is God's decision, not ours. He will do it in His time, when He believes the time is right. Absent divine intervention, we have to use our human reason, our human powers, to figure out what is the best course. I've learned this, and many of you have as well. Losing is not cost-free. It is not cost-free. If Roe v. Wade was reaffirmed because the Supreme Court took up a prohibition when they're not yet willing to overturn Roe v. Wade, we risk reaffirmance of Roe v. Wade. In Casey, we thought there were 7 potential votes. 7 of 9. And there was a good reason to think that. Well, we ended up with 4. And that loss was not cost-free. Judge Kavanaugh in his hearing said that Casey is a precedent that is entitled to stare decisis effect. In other words, not only do we have to convince him that Roe was wrong, but now because of Casey, we have to convince him that Casey was wrong. You know, an obstacle has been created, so you don't casually go into a situation when the result can be so negative, so devastating to your future prospects. And the final thing is, in terms of the danger, is we have 4 justices of the court who are sitting there right now dying to refashion the abortion right as gender discrimination. Justice Ginsburg advocated this after Roe v. Wade, and she was a professor at North Carolina University Law School, and she got her other 3 pro-abortion justices to agree with her in the federal PBA decision in dissent that the right to abortion was gender discrimination. Well, what happens if they get 5 votes? What happens if they get 5 votes? Then every law you have ever passed is unconstitutional. Every law that you have ever passed, and there is no law in the future you can ever pass that would affect abortion.